What's going on, everyone? Dare here, and welcome back to another day of Marvel Snap. This is part 2 of the Datamine. We're looking at all the things that are coming in January, and I'm gonna be honest here, January looks pretty fire. I was really excited about December until I actually took a closer look at January, and January looks like it is gonna be an absolute banger of a month in Marvel Snap, and I'm super excited about it. So let's not waste any time. Let's dig into what's coming. So January is the season of the Dark Avengers, and before we move on, there's one thing I kind of want to point out and discuss, and I'm sure a lot of you already noticed it as well, is that Daken is included in the season pass. So more than likely, Daken is going to be part of the series drop. It is like 99% to 1% chance that Daken's part of the series drop, and it's not that they're going to start including Series 4 variants in the season pass. They're not that giving. I would say maybe as part of the premium season pass, they're going to start rolling out next year, that I could see them doing it to just kind of coax people to push them into buying the premium version of it. But more than likely, Daken is going to be in the series drop. I am really disappointed we do not have some, at least, eyes on what that's going to look like yet. They did say we are going to get a couple weeks ahead of time to kind of see that before it happens, which I think it's slated to hit December 10th. So the patch on December 10th should be the series drop. And so if we have a couple of weeks before that, I mean, that's the end of November. So that's 2 weeks away, hopefully. So between now and then, we should be getting some sort of information what's on the series drop, which should be really interesting. But the thing that we can for sure probably say right now is that Daken is definitely part of that. If I was a betting man, that's how I would see it. But either way, I'm really excited for the season. Let's hop in there. Let's check out the cards that are coming in it. So to start it off, we have our actual season pass card in Iron Patriot. He is a 2/3 on reveal. Add a 4, 5, or 6 cost card to your hand. If you're winning here after next turn, give it -4 cost. I absolutely freaking love this card. I don't know why I do, which I do want to preface that with, I really like that, like, no key style deck, like the collector card generation. I really like that style of deck, and this month seems really geared towards that kind of gameplay. So, and I also really like Iron Patriot because there's a lot of upside to him. He's a 2/3. He gives you a random card that's 4, 5, or 6 cost, but it makes it so that your opponent can actively try and stop the benefit. And I like that. It's more back and forth. It's not, oh, I'm going to play this 2/3. I'm going to get a 4, 5, or 6 card. You can't do anything about the fact that it's going to be, reduced cost. I really like that there's an active play to that, because your opponent sees Iron Patriot go down and they're like, oh shit, I need to put something big in that lane. I need to win that. I really like this card. I think it's fun for both sides. I'm really excited about what this actually kind of brings to that archetype as well. I mean, collector value in my eye is going up. So, and there's another card here this month that looks like it's going to be absolutely fire with Iron Patriot. So let's dive in there. Let's actually look at the spotlight caches and what they're bringing to the table. And coming in that first week with Iron Patriot, we've got Victoria Hand. She is a 2/3. Ongoing, your cards created in your hand have +2 power. This is so good. This is so good. For starters, it's ongoing, not on reveal. It's not, an Okoye. It's not a Nakia. You don't have to play it down to buff things. You could hold on to Victoria Hand until turn 6 and slap her down, and it buff everything. I mean, think about her with Kate Bishop. Kate Bishop's arrows are already really strong, but throw Victoria Hand out there with them and they get a +2 on top of what they already are. I really like her. And then pair her up with Iron Patriot. He's getting a bunch of, reduced cost 4, 5, and 6. Valentina is finally gonna be a decent card, so I guess maybe I'm happy I did pull her. I really like Victoria Hand. I kind of like what she's bringing to the table, because I like that deck type. I'm really hoping that archetype becomes a thing. Plus, on top of it, it's a lot of RNG. It kind of brings some RNG to the game, but also kind of makes it so that it's not completely RNG. I mean, there is going to be some luck to what cards that you get, but if you're adding +2 power to all of them, who cares? So really like Victoria Hand. I think she's gonna be a really interesting card. I'm just worried that I am really, really kind of moving towards I'm all in on January. And so what am I gonna do in December? But coming with Victoria Hand, we've got Grandmaster and, of course, Honkai Kate Bishop. Actually, Grandmaster and Kate Bishop are two perfect cards to include this. You could use Grandmaster to generate more cards, and then, you know, you got Kate Bishop that's giving you arrows. I think this is gonna be a really good week. I mean, I'm excited. I'm super excited about this week. I think it's gonna be so good. I hope it turns out being good, because if I'm going all in on this and it's absolute trash, oh, that's gonna be a little bit devastating. But either way, I'm not talking about how I'm spending my keys. We're just literally looking at all the new stuff. Let's go on to the next week. All right, coming the next week on January 14th, we've got Bullseye. Bullseye is a 4/5. It's nice that this guy is actually getting released, because I'm pretty sure his artwork has been in the Datamine for a very long time. But activate, discard all cards that cost 1 or less from your hand. Afflict that many different enemy cards with -2. Honestly, I'm not sure where he lands. I think he's a very interesting card. I think he has a lot of synergies with Scorn, but I'm not really completely sure how good that's going to make him. I feel like he fits better into an Affliction deck, but I'm not really seeing where Bullseye, and apparently there's probably something just like staring me in the face of like, Dare, you're a dummy. Bullseye is going to be god tier, but for me, I'm not necessarily seeing it. I do think that, you know, in a discard deck, he could be very interesting. I mean, he gets rid of Scorn. He potentially gets rid of Blade. I think that if it was 2 or less, especially if you could do it with Swarm synergies, that would be really cool. Imagine filling your hand with Swarm and then at the end of the game activating Bullseye and just completely just, you know, nerfing the other team's side of the board would be very interesting. But I'm struggling to see where Bullseye kind of comes into play. He's also a type of card that I don't play a lot of Affliction cards, so I'm really curious to see kind of where he lands. But I mean, if you have an idea of where Bullseye fits in, definitely let me know, because I am for sure not necessarily seeing it. Joining him is going to be Black Swan, which Black Swan, weirdly, her stocks are up with bounce. So Black Swan is definitely a card that if you are a bounce player are probably very interested in. And then Nocturne. Nocturne is coming back, is also a very good Series 5 card that I think is honestly just a good slot in to a lot of different decks. I think a lot of people just throw Nocturne in just for the movability and stuff, but I think she was especially good when Professor X was kind of a thing, and now that he doesn't really see a whole lot of play, who knows. But either way, we're moving on to the next week. Okay, and then we got January 21st. We have Moonstone. I don't know what to say about this card because I think it's going to be broken. I do. I'm a little concerned that she's going to be really, really strong for a variety of reasons. Let's talk about the one that probably jumps to most people's mind, Mystique. So let's say turn 4, you play down Moonstone in the right lane. Turn 5, you play Iron Man in the left lane. Turn 6, you play Mystique in the middle lane. You now have an Iron Man buff across all lanes. Really freaking good. Like that's a good play line, especially if you are playing something like Zoo. Or, you know, you're playing something like the Agent Venom Thena deck. Like, that's really good. I mean, you literally have Iron Man across all 3 lanes. Very, very strong. I think that has so many play lines, so many different ways to make this interesting, especially if you even threw in Magic, extended the game. Like, really, really interesting play style. The other thing, which is was one of the first things that pops in my mind, C5? Are we getting C5? Throw out Moonstone, you got Cerebro, you Mystique Mystique the Cerebro, and then all of a sudden, hey, look at that. That is a lot of power. I mean, that is plus what? +6 to everything on the board. All your 5s become 11s. Not too shabby. So I really hope she makes C5 a thing. I think the other thing, especially on who she is in the week with, she is being joined by Kyra, which I've been wanting forever. And then Marvel Boy, who is such a clutch card in Zoo. I think with the people that she's with this week, she'd fit perfectly in Zoo. I mean, yeah, you don't get Kazar, you don't get Blue Marvel, but you do get Ant-Man. You do get Dazzler. You could do Patriot. I mean, throw out Patriot, Mystique into Moonstone, Ultron. That's a really strong board. That is a strong board. I mean, at that point, do you even need Mystique? She's just better. She's just a better Mystique. So, I mean, you throw out Patriot, you throw out Moonstone, and then on turn 5, Blue Marvel. Am I doing? Yeah, Blue Marvel into Ultron. That's a really good, really strong beginner deck, if not, you know, whatever. I mean, yeah, it gets stopped by Cosmo if you see the Ultron coming, but that's a strong deck. And then the reason that I'm really worried about her isn't necessarily all of the strong things that she can do. I'm worried about her for lockdown. And that may sound silly. It may sound silly, but I'm picturing you throw out Goose on turn 2, Cosmo on turn 3. I don't know what other pain in the butt ongoings are there. I mean, you could do armor, you know, absolutely obliterates destroy, and then Moonstone, and then, you know, you're goosing 2 lanes, you're Cosmoing 2 lanes. This could be an issue. This could be an issue. I mean, at that point, you completely lock down anyone doing on reveals. You lock down anyone playing cards over 3 cost. They have to pile everything into essentially one lane or the other. I think it's going to be an issue, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong because I don't know. But it is a worry of me that she could be a problem with some of the lockdown cards. But either way, there's so many 1, 2, and 3 cost cards to make her really, really good, especially honestly from a budget deck standpoint. I mean, I just did my Zoo Strong Guy deck. Her out there getting the Strong Guy buff, getting +6. That's so good. She becomes a 4/11. And on top of it, if you're running that deck as well, I mean, you could throw in Ant-Man, you can throw in Dazzler, you could throw in a ton of other cards. And I mean, if she's getting the Strong Guy buff, she's getting the Ant-Man buff. I mean, that's +10. She becomes a 4/15. And you got Dazzler on top of it. I mean, she's a 4/17. That's Surtur numbers, except, you know, it's a little bit more expensive. But either way, in a budget deck. So I do think Moonstone is going to be really good. I do. Especially in certain decks, I think she's going to be really strong. So I'm really excited about it. Like I said, she's coming with Kyra and Marvel Boy, which is, if you like Zoo, these are must-haves. I'm personally probably, I mean, I'm not talking about when I'm using my keys, but God, I'm using my keys on this week. Even though I already have Marvel Boy, Kyra is someone that I want, and Moonstone seems so good. But either way, let's move on to the next week. All right, and to wrap it up, we've got January 28th. We've got Ares. He's a 4/6 on reveal compared to the power of the top 3 cards of both decks. If your total is higher, +6 power. I mean, do we need anything else to add into Surtur? Do we need something else for Shadow King to target? I think he's a decent card. I do. I think he's a big buff card that has counters to him. I don't think he's anything to write home about. I mean, having the on reveal is cool. But I mean, I think he's just a big dumb idiot card in my opinion. I think he's going to slot into that deck. I think he's going to be good. I'm trying to think of any other decks that he could, you know, do decent in. And honestly, for the most part, I think that's where he fits the best, because I mean, you want to have for sure guaranteed that you have more power than your opponent in your top 3 cards. Big dumb idiots is the way. He's counterable by Shadow King, by Cosmo. I think he's a good card. He's not like, oh my God, need this. Especially considering he's being joined by Kang and Misery. This poor guy. This poor guy. So maybe this is showing that we are going to get a Kang rework finally. Maybe not, but I mean, this week is very interesting because I think Ares he's just going to be a good, reliable card. But God, do Kang and Misery not? They really don't give me the warm and fuzzies. But either way, that's the spotlight caches for the month. Let's go look at the bundles. Okay, and starting on January 7th, we've got Witching Hour. We've got Nico Minaru with 3,000 collector's tokens, 3,000 credits, 6,000 gold for $100. Woof! If I'm spending $100 in this game, no, that ain't it. Nico is so good though. I mean, and I will say Nico is a fantastic card. But for just 3,000 collector's tokens, credits, and gold, this one's not giving me warm and fuzzies. So I do not think that this is the bundle if you're going to spend $100 to one to chase after. But we're going to move on. On January 7th, we're also getting Cosmic Charmer. We got Mantis, 800 credits, 800 gold. It's honestly not that bad for a $10 bundle. It's not. The currency value is there, the bundle value. Kind of, I mean, Mantis in herself does not see a whole lot of play. But overall, maybe. Actually, now that I'm saying that out loud, with that kind of archetype looking like it's getting a buff, the collector style, the Nokia style, the generation card, this could be really, really good. Mantis could see some play back, which is very kind of interesting at this point. She, you know, could be a decent card that month. Moving on to Take a Bow. I think it's supposed to be Take a Bow. I don't know. For 2,000 gold, you get Mirage, 2,800 credits. It's not a good bundle. Like, it's just the currency conversion is not good. Mirage is I mean, she's a Series 3 card in a month that they're promoting cards like Mirage. Once again, she kind of fits in that archetype. I think they're targeting this archetype really hard with this month, especially given Mantis variant and now a Mirage one. That's very interesting. Honestly, I'm fine with it. I'm sick of seeing Venom and Carnage as variant bundles. So, you know, I am here for it. But overall, this is not a great bundle. Moving on to January 9th, we've got Juggernaut. It is a Juggernaut bundle or variant with 3,000 credits, 1,200 gold for $30. I mean, this is just honestly middle of the pack. Nothing special here unless you really, really like Juggernaut. And then on January 13th, we have Total Buzzkill. We got an Annihilus variant with a Spotlight Cash Key, 2,000 gold for $50. It's okay. I mean, it's okay. I mean, you do get a Spotlight Cash Key. I'm never really excited to see those, but you do get Annihilus. So that is kind of nice to get a Series 5 card with it. It is kind of a good looking variant. I do think it's kind of funny, but overall, $50 bundle. Coming in on January 14th, you have Hope Summers for 3,500 credits for $30. The currency on it is terrible, but I actually do kind of appreciate that they're putting a lot of Series 5 cards in these now. I mean, for $30, you can get a Hope Summers, which is kind of wild considering I already talked about this in my last video, but with their new weekly deals, you get 1,000 collector's tokens for $10, which means that it'd be $60 for a Series 5 card. You could buy one here for 30 bucks. I mean, unfortunately, that is half price of what their other standard cost of a Series 5 card is. So if you're going to throw money at the game, that is probably the way to do it, unfortunately. But moving on. We've got January 15th, Cat out of the bag. We've got a Black Cat variant with 3,000 credits for $20. Once again, middle of the pack. It's just kind of that same range of 1,500 credits for $10. I mean, that just kind of seems where it's at right now with bundles. Is $10 gets you 1,500 credits. So I mean, it's fine, especially, you know, if you like Black Cat. I know she's a very popular character. It's not a terrible bundle to, I guess, get, especially if you're newer and you need credits. Moving on to Slice and Dice Baby. We've got 1,800 gold, a Lady Sif variant for $15. Still kind of that middle of the pack, which is quite all right. And then the next one is probably the one that I'm going to get this month for sure. Like I am. We got Mission Nimpossible. We get a Nimrod variant, 3,000 collector's tokens, and 4,000 gold. I hate that they marked it up. I was completely fine with the Series 4 with 3,000 tokens for 3,500. I was completely fine with that. They realized that was a good one. I'm sure everyone got those bundles, and now they're like, let's push it. Let's get 500 more gold out of them, which that sucks. It does. I really wish they would have kept this at 3,500. I mean, I'm getting this bundle. I do not own Nimrod, and it's 3,500 tokens or 3,000 tokens. Like, this is the bundle that I'm going to be buying with my gold this month, and I hate that they marked it up. I do. I mean, come on. Come on. I'm gonna buy it with just absolute disdain, and then love every minute of finally getting Nimrod. All right, let's move on. We've got Gilgamesh Up You Up. Gilgamesh You Up. Yeah, that's it. So we got Gilgamesh for 3,000 credits, 3,000 gold for $50. Once again, it's $50 for a Series 5 card. Actually, no, I mean, it's just okay. It's not $30. Last one was $30 for a Series 5 card. This is $50 with 3,000 credits, 3,000 gold. So, I mean, honestly, it's in that same time frame. Maybe you really, really want Nimrod, and you can spend $50, get you almost close to getting Nimrod, plus you get Gilgamesh and Nimrod then for, you know, a bunch of cash. On January 24th, we have Rage Against Machines. We get a Sentinel variant for $20 and 2,500 credits, which, no, I'm pausing because it's kind of interesting, because this is another card that's generating cards in your hand. I really am just seeing a theme here between Sentinel, Mirage, Mantis. There's a lot of cards this month that's kind of geared towards that same kind of play style, which I'm here for. But it definitely is interesting to kind of see that. Moving on January 28th, we've got Ajax of all trades. We've got Ajax, 3,000 collector's tokens, 2,000 credits for $50. I mean, honestly, if I was in a place where I was willing to spend that kind of money on Marvel Snap, this is probably the bundle that I would get. Ajax in itself, I mean, he is, I would define him as an archetype defining card, mainly because you can play Toxic without him, but I don't think you want to play Toxic without him. He literally is the win condition a lot of the times. So I think he's a fantastic card for 3,000 credit for collector's tokens and 2,000 credits. I mean, the currency value isn't there, the bundle value isn't there, but I think for me personally, if I was going to spend that kind of money on this game, this is the bundle that I probably would buy. Just because, yeah, I don't have Ajax, and I think that he is a extremely strong card. But I probably will not, because that is a lot of money. Then we have New Chi, and we got a Shang-Chi variant for 1,000 gold and $10. And following that up on January 31st, we have Psychic Sakura. We got a Psylocke variant for 2,500 credits, $15. And that is okay. Honestly, as far as the currency value goes, this is probably one of the better ones the entire month. Most of the month was not great. We do not have a lot of really strong bundles this month. It kind of seems like they're kind of staying in the same range this month. There's not really any standouts. Most of the $10 to $15 bundles all kind of give you the same, whether it's credits or gold, kind of the same amount. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of standouts. I mean, honestly, if anything, there's not really any that I'm like, oh god, I need to have, outside of the Nimrod one. Like, most of them aren't really there. So unfortunately, most of them are around that 150 under currency value. I mean, we have a couple to pop up to 160, but that's kind of where we're at. I think the best one was the Cosmic Charmer for Mantis for, you know, $10 for 800 credits and 800 gold was probably the best bang for your buck for 10 months for the month. But either way, I will actually say that I'll actually talk about towards the end of the month on talking about the, oh my god, I blanked. I'm talking about the schedule for the month. I'll probably talk about bundles to keep an eye out for when those are dropping, and that will be coming. Honestly, for January, that'll be coming towards the end of December. That is going to be a Christmas video for me. But either way, that is the spotlights and the bundles for January. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I think the cards are fantastic. I think the thing is that I was up here on December. Like, I think there's a lot of really interesting, a lot of cool cards in December. But once I looked through on January, it was like, whoop. And I don't even know who I'm going to chase after in December now. So I may just save keys. I may pick up 1 or 2 more cards here in November, because I do think I want Gore. I think I do want Gore. I'll probably get Fenris with tokens, and then I may just save. I may just save keys, because I'm really excited. I'm really excited for January. I really like the cards that they're bringing to the table. It's a bunch of styles of play that I really enjoy. So I think that might be the plan. I think it is. So either way, but I'll talk about that. I'll be doing my how I'm spending my keys video here in probably a week and a half, something around there, maybe 2 weeks, and then we can discuss it then. But either way, I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I hope you like videos like this. Please hit that like button. If you did, hit that subscribe button to see more of my content. I hope you guys all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.